What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Prophecy Misfits Podcast. This is episode 307, Beyond the Fog. And we're going to be taking a look at a lot of different things that have been happening while everybody has been watching the Middle East. It's one of those situations where when they direct the spotlight into one central place and that you just get flooded with all this information regarding one centralized thing. There's usually stuff going on behind the scenes that they're not talking about. And so we're going to go over a few of those things tonight. And we're going to talk about a few of those things. So should be fun. But if this is your first time here, welcome in. This is what we do on Tuesdays and Saturdays. We get together and we watch for the signs of the return of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. We don't know exactly when he's going to come, but we're told to watch for the season. We're told to keep an eye on what's going on and what's happening, so we can not be caught off guard when that blessed hope happens, when the rapture happens. I don't know about you guys. I'm so ready to go home. I'm definitely ready to go home. I'm sure a lot of you are as well. So I'm done with this world. I'm done. Get me off this rock. Please come soon, Lord. Get me off this rock. But yeah, so that's what we do. And like I said, we're going to be covering a few things tonight. Should be a pretty interesting night. We got some stuff when it comes to AI and job situation. We got a little bit of stuff when it comes to utilizing cell phone data in order to, predict and track people to hand out speeding tickets. We got some stuff when it comes to Palmer Luckey from Anduril and Joe Lonsdale, who's the co-founder of Palantir with Alex Karp and Peter Thiel and so on and so forth. Got some stuff coming from there. Got a couple things regarding Stephen Miller being connected to Palantir. Stephen Miller was the one that wanted to suspend habeas corpus and whatnot in order to bring in the military onto the streets and everything. It's amazing how that works in regards to that. And we also got a couple other things too. That's messed up. Okay. A couple other things too when it comes to the ICE situation, immigrants, lockdown of basically information in regards to that. We also got some stuff when it comes to the farm workers situation. Everything's all messed up on my end over here. There we go. A couple things when it comes to the farm workers information. Got some stuff coming from the USDA regarding the jabbing the chickens for the bird flu stuff. That's right. The bird flu is not done. Bird flu is still going right now. But that was the talk of the town for a while. And then all of a sudden nobody's talking about it anymore, but they're still quietly moving forward with jabbing the chickens. So it's amazing how that works. Got some stuff when it comes to the United Kingdom regarding DNA testing and gene sequencing for all children who are just born. It's a little bit different than the heel prick. So we'll talk about that. And then something else that's going on. I mentioned it before, but going on right now is the WEF Summer Davos over in China. And so they've been talking about a bunch of stuff over there. We're going to go over one of the things from their emerging technology summit, whatever they call those things, meeting summit, whatever, regarding autonomous biochemical sensors. We'll be going over that, and we'll talk about how RFK Jr. Is basically wanting to do just that. In regards to his Maha movement. It's amazing, how that works, where all these people come in and we thought they were the freedom guys, and they're no, they're right in line with what most of us thought that they were going to do. Or not most, a very small group of us. It's amazing. Anyways, we got a bunch of stuff that we're going to cover tonight, so it should be good stuff. So let's see how y'all are doing in the chat tonight. Let's see what's going on with y'all up in here. Let's see here. Gracie is here. Good to see you, Gracie. Thanks for being here. And yet a very dapper looking pug there. Make sure you're good to see you, Gracie. Thanks for being here. We got Jojo as well. So ready. Yes, I am too. Can we go? Can we go home? Jesus, please. Please, I'm ready. But good to see you, Jojo. Thanks for being here. Sherry is here as well. Good to see you, Sherry. John 14:3, Jesus promised he would come again and he will come again indeed. He always fulfills his promises, and we got to make sure that we remember that. But good to see you, Sherry. Thanks for being here. We got Patrick Starr as well. You got like a stomach bug going on? I'm not sure what's going on with that. But good to see you, Patrick. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you spending your time here. We got Joseph Pena as well. Jalapena. Good to see you, man. Thanks for being here. Yeah, I'm sure you're ready to go too. I think we're all about ready. Lulu is here as well. Definitely weirdness happened. Broadcast today, believing there's a fungus among us. There's always a fungus among us everywhere you go. But good to see you, Lulu. Misfit Carol is here as well. Soon ready to. Yes, please, let's go. We got Jellyfish as well. Good to see you, Jellyfish. Thank you for being here. I think we're all ready to go home. Yes, I'm with you for sure. Mindy is here as well. Good to see you, Mindy. Thanks for spending your Tuesday here. And you could be a bunch of other places, but you're here, and I appreciate you. Kim is here as well. Good to see you, Kim. Yep, you're ready to go too. I bet. Nancy West is here as well. Good to see you, Nancy. Thanks for being here on this Tuesday. The Doc is here as well with the panda picture. Love the panda. Good to see you, Doc. Thanks for being here. Let's see. Trace is here. Good to see you, Trace. Glad you're here. Started your book today. Can't wait to finish it. But I already said good job. Well, thank you, Trace. I appreciate it. Hopefully, hopefully that sentiment stays there as you continue through the book. So good to see you, Trace. Will G is here as well. Good to see you, Will. Thanks for being here. Ash Walks with Christ is here as well. Jesus, come soon. Yes, amen. Please come soon. We got Peanut is here as well, having some internet issues. Well, that's not good. Hopefully you can get that all figured out, but glad you're somewhat here. I don't know. Either way, thanks for being here. Let's see. We have Penny H as well. Penny H. Good to see you, Penny. I'm ready to beam me up, Jesus. Yes, please. Dino Spumoni is in the house. Good to see you, Dino. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Hopefully you're having a good week so far. Let's see here. Who do we got? We got Sharon Loves JC. Good to see you. You're melting. Well, that's not good. I don't suggest melting. You might take a few minutes and try and get yourself into the fridge or something to see if you can cool yourself down. But good to see you, Sharon. Let's see. Charlotte Marshall is here as well. Good to see you from Very Hot. Yeah. This is that tropical, tropical humidity that's coming in, that was coming in this week. So hopefully y'all are doing all right and not melting like Sharon is. But good to see you. Let's see. Suss Out is here. Cling to what Jesus said. If it were not so, I would have told you. Yes, indeed. He stands by his word, and we got to remember that. Good to see you, Suss. Mom is here. Hey, Mom. Good to see you. Yep, I'm tired of it too. That's for sure. Cammie Hatfield is here. Good to see you, Cammie. Hey all. Well, everybody say hello to Cammie because it's the nice thing to do. But good to see you, Cammie. Thanks for being here. Rachel C is here as well. Haven't heard that phrase in a long time yet. Fungus among us. Good to see you, Rachel. Misfit Tina is here as well. Good to see you, Misfit Tina and Peanut the Pug. Hopefully you guys are doing all right. Let's see. Jojo is here as well. Victoria. Good to see you, Victoria. Let's see here. Who else we got coming up here? Donna Roth is here as well. So good to see you. Thanks for being here, Donna. I bet you are ready to go home too. I am as well. Over on Rumble, who do we got? We got Minnie G's over there. CL Moody is over there as well. In his image, Katie Epsey's over there too. Lori Romeo is there as well. Good to see you. Who else we got in there? Jacques is there as well. Good to see you, Jacques. Thank you guys for being here. If I don't pick you out, it's not that I like you. It's just we got a bunch of stuff to get to tonight. We really do have a bunch of stuff. So let's go ahead and get into some housekeeping.
Housekeeping?
No, thank you. Sleeping.
Housekeeping?
All right, housekeeping, usual spiel. If you guys can, like, share, subscribe, get this out to as many people as you can. It's not about views, it's not about butts and seats, but it is about getting the warning out to people and getting people to Jesus. So if you guys can do me a solid and like, share, subscribe, I would certainly appreciate it. Again, our goal is to try and reach as many people as we can with the truth, with warning, and with the gospel of Jesus Christ. And There's a lot of people just asking questions, trying to find out what's going on, and hopefully they can find this place, get some questions answered, and ultimately get the gospel of Jesus Christ. So that's definitely why we do that. So if you guys can do me a solid and like, share, subscribe, it helps reach those people. Also, make sure you guys follow me Rumble and Telegram. Those are my backup channels. My brain just went dead all of a sudden. Those are my backup channels. So if I get booted off YouTube, we'll be back up live streaming over on Rumble. So make sure you guys go ahead and follow me over there. And the Telegram, I post updates, announcements, and other little things like that I can't put in video format. So make sure you guys go ahead and follow me over there. Best place to stay up to date, though, of course, is the WretchedWatchmen.com website. That's your one-stop shop to stay up to date on the latest podcast announcements, events, and all that type of stuff. If you want to know what's going on, that's the best place to stay up to date. Of course, you will also find, as Trace mentioned earlier, the free downloadable book, Eden to End, Mystery Religion of Revelation 17. Again, it's free for anybody. Just go there, press the download button on the book spot, and it'll download. It's free digital to everybody. Feel free to share it out, print it out, send it to everybody that you can. Just don't alter it or sell it. That's all I ask. And that's the goal, is we want to try and make sure that gets out to everybody and answers the question about something that there's so much confusion, so much speculation, and so many people who don't really know what's going on. Hopefully this will be able to answer the question with a very simple dot connecting with scripture and history to answer the question of the mystery religion, the one world religion, and so on and so forth. So hopefully that'll help. With that, you'll also find the information page regarding the Reload Bible Prophecy Conference coming up Saturday, July 12th at noon Central. It's going to be a good time. It's an all-day event. All these dudes that you see in the picture will be speaking. I appreciate every single one of these guys, and I'm glad that they're all there. So make sure you guys mark your calendars and get ready for that. It's free. Don't have to sign up, register. Don't have to do anything special. Just show up to the YouTube page or the website and click play, and it'll be going for you at that time. So make sure you guys come on for that one. Invite as many people as you can to watch and stuff. It's going to be a good time. And last but not least, if you guys would like to support this channel and what I got going on, I got donation links down below. CashApp, Venmo, and GiveSendGo. This channel's not monetized. I don't make anything from ads, views, anything like that. It runs solely off of your guys' generous donations. So I am a firm believer that I think all this stuff needs to be free for everybody. I don't think we need to be doing paywalls or selling stuff or anything like that. That's just my opinion on that. And the reason why I can do that is because of you guys and your generous giving and whatnot. So I appreciate it. Thank you guys for your support and your prayers and everything. I love all you guys. Love all you guys for sure. So thank you. Appreciate that. And that's housekeeping. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. You guys ready to get into all this monkey business? All this craziness? There we go. Got to make sure I got the right thing. All right. Let's go and talk. Every time I see Fitz post, I make sure they love it. Gotta love Fitz. Oh, man. All right. So first things first, just start off with something simple before we start getting into the heavy stuff. But I thought it would be good to talk about what's going on with this. Because as we know, there is a serious AI takeover that is happening. Unless you've been living under a rock or out in the middle of nowhere and you don't have internet connection or anything like that, which good for you. Honestly, good for you. As we know that they are injecting AI in everything, artificial intelligence and everything, taking away jobs, taking away thinking capacity for humans, taking away creativity, taking away imagination, just taking away everything because AI is getting injected into it. Some people are getting forced into it. Some people are actively embracing it. Either way, everybody's getting some dose of AI, and that includes the church. The church is actively embracing AI. The same people who were warning against it are now saying it's okay to use because they're using it themselves. And AI is just going everywhere. It's almost impossible to avoid nowadays, to be honest. But I'm under the I hold the idea, the belief that if we can not choose in the times where it's an option, not choose to use AI, I think that's the best route to go. Sometimes you can't avoid this stuff. Just like, we know that the YouTube platform, we know who runs it. We know it's bad, but we still use it in this case. Same with the Rumble platform, same thing. We know it's bad. We know who runs it, and we use it in that capacity as well. But it's still, when it comes to AI and stuff, even though there's going to be times that we can't avoid it, we still, I don't believe, should be actively choosing to use it. But yeah, so we can see here Applebee's and IHOP have plans for AI. The two eateries could soon use an AI-powered system to recommend or upsell menu items. So basically, AI is going to start studying their customers that come into these places. It's going to start building a social a profile for you. And so the next time you go to the restaurant, it'll take all the information that it's gathered about you and start recommending and upselling items that you will be more inclined to take. Yes, that's pretty much how all this stuff is working when it comes to taking your social profile and doing it. All the ads and stuff, recommended ads and everything, all has to do with prior search history. We've talked about before where a buddy and I tested this. We tested this. We took our phones. One of us turned the phone off. The other one just had the phone on, and we sat them on the table and had a conversation about toasters. We then checked our Facebook profiles. This was years ago. Checked our Facebook profiles, and each of our profiles then had recommended ads for toasters, even when one of our phones was off. So this stuff really does work, even when when your phone's not on. It's just how it works. So Applebee's and IHOP plan to launch an AI-powered personalization engine that could help its restaurants provide recommendations and customized deals, according to the report from the Wall Street Journal. Personalization engine would use a customer's past purchases or the orders of customers similar to them to make recommendations. Again, this should be all the warning that you need regarding AI, because it's building your social profile. It's learning you. It's taking your data, putting it in a folder, and then building up predictive algorithms based upon the information that it's gathered about you. That's what all these AI systems are doing. Justin Skelton, the chief information officer at the restaurant's parent company, Dine Brands, tells the Journal that an AI-powered personalization system would be designed to boost customer loyalty as well as serve as a way to upsell products. As noted by the Journal, IHOP already has some information about its customers' ordering habits through its reward program. Instead of chasing viral trends like Chili's, other restaurant franchises have hopped on the AI bandwagon as well, with Wendy's deploying an AI chatbot at its drive-thrus that can take orders and even upsell menu items. They have this stuff going on all over the place. It's not just Wendy's. I think my dad was telling me that Wiener Schnitzel's got that going on now. There's other fast food companies. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but there's other fast food companies doing this. As we know, they're doing all robotic AI fast food restaurants now anyways, where there's only one person in there. Everything else is done through automated cooking, automated ordering boards, and automated drive-thrus and stuff. So we got that going on. McDonald's also recently resumed plans to put AI at the drive-thru and inside its restaurants, while Taco Bell revealed plans to put voice AI technology at more than 100 of its drive-thrus across the United States. All these places, McDonald's, Taco Bell and stuff, that they don't even have anybody at the register anymore. You walk in and it's a board and you put your card in there and stuff. It's absolutely ridiculous. But again, this is one of the things where we know that there is a lot of people who think that they can make a living working at fast food. I know this might be rough to hear for some people, but fast food is not something that's supposed to be a sustainable job. That's something like that you get as your first job or your in-between jobs or something like that. It's supposed to be a stop. It's not supposed to be a career. But a lot of people believe that they should be able to make a full-time living and support a family on fast food. And so I got a gnat flying around my face. Sorry. And so that's when they started demanding like $20 an hour, $25 an hour. And this is what happens when that happens, because you can be replaced by a robot and artificial intelligence, and it costs them less and they don't have to deal with it. So it's amazing how that works. As noted by the Journal, Dine Brands is considering rolling out AI tools designed for staff members as well, along with exploring the use of AI-powered cameras to detect when a table needs cleaning. Do you guys understand the ridiculousness of that? Along with exploring the use of AI-powered cameras to detect when a table needs cleaning. Here's an idea. Look, like, why do we need AI cameras? Just have somebody go, oh, that table's dirty. That needs to clean it. Why do we need cameras? This is the element. This is the element of AI taking over the thinking capacity of humans. And I've talked about this a few times in the past. I go over this in the Eden End book. But this is what AI is doing. Everybody is relying upon AI. There's even studies now coming out saying that people's brain capacity, brain power, their thinking ability is starting to revert. And it's truly affecting it because people aren't reading, people aren't studying, people aren't using critical thinking. People are using AI to do all of the thinking for them. And so their brain is not getting the power that it needs. People need to realize that a brain is like a muscle. You need to continue to use it. Otherwise, it'll start to decay. It'll start to dwindle. It'll start to revert. And so this is what happens. So even to the point where you can't even have somebody walk out there and just look at a table if it needs cleaning. They need to actually have AI cameras to do it. And so this is where we're at in society now. This is where we're at. But this is what they wanted. They wanted dependency. They want people to be dependent upon the digital system and the governmental system. They want people in all capacities and all walks of life to do that. Same with just even using thinking. They don't want people thinking for themselves. They want everybody thinking like this, which goes, again, I go over that in the Eden End book as well in regards to the Overmind from, I believe it's H.G. Wells's book and everything. So this is all about building this universal intelligence system, combining the human mind with AI into a centralized digital melting pot, creating this universal intelligence. And it's mind-boggling. So even something like AI in IHOP and Applebee's is actually contributing to that very same thing. So worth keeping in mind for all the people who recommend to their friends to use AI. Oh, just ask AI, or just have AI do it. Well, do that enough times, all of a sudden you're going to be drooling while you're telling them to use AI. Just use AI. I use it for everything. It's great. Yeah, I took a shot. Deal with it. All right, moving on. So let's take a look at what's going on with this. It says cell phone data has helped the Washington State Police nab speeders. A crackdown is focusing on hotspots identified by 2023 data. This should be fun, right? This should be fun. Can you guys read that? Nope, too much. There we go. All right, so coming out of Olympia, Washington, this was June 18th, it says the Washington State Patrol has a new tool to help slow down speeding drivers, and your cell phone may have helped. Cell phone data for more than 1 million cell phone users in Washington in 2023 helped the state identify where to look for dangerous drivers. So this has to do with collecting everybody's cell phone data while on the road, and then it utilizing an algorithm, it pops up with the hotspots so they can start placing police there. In order to do this. Now, some people might look at this and go, hey, it's a good way to get all the bad drivers off the road. Me, personally, I look at that and go, hey, they're taking everybody's data to track where they should be putting police officers and so on and so forth. That's not right. That's not right. This is so exciting to be using data we haven't had access before, says Washington Traffic Safety Commission Acting Director Shelley Baldwin. This is predictive as opposed to reflective. This is something that we've talked about for years. Utilizing AI, utilizing data collection has to do with pre-crime, predictive crime. It has to do with taking everybody's data and trying to predict when something bad is going to happen. This is thought police. This is thought police 2.0. This is having a bad thought. Like We know from movies and stuff, we've seen it before, where it's like, we predict that this person has bad intentions to commit murder, so we're going to go ahead and arrest them before they even do it. Well, this is the same thing that we got going on here, where we're going to take everybody's data and we're going to predict where there's going to be the bad drivers, and so we're going to start putting people there in order to do it. And so this is a situation of the data collection having more access to you than they should. Baldwin said the commission used state funding. So not only are they doing it, but now it's the people of Washington that are paying for this same thing. That's just how it goes. All the wars, all the technology, all the things that we see being deployed is all taking money from you. You're paying for the very same cage that they continue to lock you in. You guys still think that we're free here in the United States? You guys still think this is land of the free? Just saying. Baldwin said the commission used state funding to purchase telematic data gathered by Michelin Mobility Intelligence to show when and where drivers were speeding, braking, and talking and texting while driving. You can turn layers on and off that will tell you the segment of time in this location is hot, but at this time of day, it is not. Over the next 6 weeks, the Washington State Patrol will be looking for speeders in 4 locations where speeding regularly occurs, according to the cell phone data. Interstate 5, which, we don't need to go over that. We want drivers to slow down, pay attention to the road, and never drive impaired. But most importantly, we want drivers to arrive safely at their destination, because every time they take, each and every time they take to the roadway. It's all about your safety, right? It's all about utilizing your data and predicting that you're going to do something bad in order to keep you safe, and so on and so forth. So again, this is one of those situations where, again, they continue to say it's for your safety and so on and so forth. But ultimately what they're doing is they're taking every ounce of your privacy, every ounce of your freedom, every ounce of your data, pulling it so they can use it against you and having you pay for it. And the entire world is flipped upside down, which should not surprise us for the times that we're currently living in right now. None of this stuff surprises me. Yeah, I don't know. This is one of the situations where I still hear people that we live in a free country, and there's really no freedom left. It's the idea that we have freedom. It's the illusion that we have freedom, but we really are we've always been trapped in this cage that just continues to shrink. That's all that's going on right now. It's not one of those, because I hear it all the time, well, they're taking away our freedoms, but they're not really technically taking away our freedoms. They're just reducing the illusion of the freedom that we have as they continue to shrink it down. It's the same thing that I always say when it comes to people who protest, like protesters and stuff like that. Protesting isn't about going out there and being active to protect our freedoms. Protesting is going out there and asking the slave masters for a little bit more slack in the chain. That's really all that's going on. We have lost freedom for decades, as far back as it goes. All the licenses that you have to have, all the permits that you have to do anything. You can't own a home, because if you don't pay the property tax, then the home that you paid off gets taken. And that's what I mean. There's no actual ownership. There's no actual freedom anymore. And we often talk about the WEF when they were talking about you will own nothing and be happy. Well, this is one of those situations where you really don't own anything. And honestly, the illusion of happiness is dwindling. Is definitely dwindling. Well, for us who are paying attention, I would probably say the majority out there in the world are, well, they're little lemmings who are enjoying what they have anyways. So, anyways. All right, that's my activist soapbox for the night. I'll just leave it there. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next thing. Ay. All right, so let's take a look at this. Palmer Luckey. How many people know Palmer Luckey? I've talked about him before. He's the dude who started Anduril, the defense contractor. Palmer Luckey aims to revive tech banking with crypto-friendly Erebor. startup. It's coming from June 13th. This Palmer Luckey, doesn't he look like a happy dude? It's Palmer Luckey, yeah. The Hawaiian shirt, the goatee with the soul patch, the mullet action. Man, he looks like a good dude, doesn't he? Palmer Luckey, whose fast-growing defense firm Anduril is set on revolutionizing modern warfare, is now backing an ambitious crypto-friendly banking startup that aims to rethink the world of finance. 32-year-old tech mogul is backing a fledgling financial firm that aims to provide stability for Silicon Valley and which is focused mainly on helping tech entrepreneurs build their businesses versus maximizing returns on deposits, insiders say. The startup is tentatively being called Erebor, a reference to the mountain where the dragon Smaug stores his hoard of gold in J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings prequel, The Hobbit. But the moniker is not final and could change, the sources says. There's definitely a lot of reference to The Lord of the Rings when it comes to Silicon Valley and these companies. Anduril is actually the name of the sword that the main dude, I think, what's his name? I was never a Lord of the Rings dude. Aragon or something like that, whatever it is, the main guy. His sword is called Anduril. It's supposed to be the magic sword. And then there's Palantir, which has to do with the balls, the Overwatch crystal ball, where you can see all across the world, and so on and so forth. And now they're starting up this that has to do with the mountain where the dragon stores his gold. So a lot of references to the Lord of the Rings when it comes to Silicon Valley stuff. In addition to cash, sources said Erebor aims to handle deposits in stablecoin, a class of digital currency with value directly pegged to the stable asset like the US dollar or gold. So there is something interesting that I'm keeping tabs on. I'm keeping track in regards to the stablecoin situation. One of the things that Trump was pushing during the campaigning and stuff was about ending the Fed. How many people remember that? That was one of the talking points that he was talking about, was ending the Fed. What we have with the stablecoin situation, I've seen bits and pieces of information getting dropped. So this is in no way saying that this is what's going to happen. So don't take it that way. But I am going to tell you this because I want you guys to keep an eye on this situation like I'm going to be doing. Because I'm hearing that there is the possibility that they're not going to have the stablecoin be backed by the actual US dollar. They may actually have it backed by US treasuries or US bonds. Now, why is this significant? Why is this important? The reason why this is important is because if it's backed by the US dollar, it's the Federal Reserve, the Fed, that prints the dollar. That's not what the Treasury does, the US Treasury. It's the Fed that prints it. If it's held by bonds or treasuries, the US Treasury actually handles that, which means if they're going to have the stable coin be backed by US treasuries or US bonds, that means that they can completely go around the Fed. And if they eliminate cash, they can be done with the Federal Reserve altogether. They won't need it. Now, why this is also important is because everybody's calling for the Fed to end. What's a good way to re-up the trust factor of Trump if they need to do it? Have him end the Fed. Well, how does he do that? Stablecoins backed by US bonds. And so this is something that I'm keeping track on because they won't need the Fed when the stablecoin is involved. They don't need them anymore. They'll be worthless because the Fed doesn't deal with bonds, just like the Treasury doesn't deal with the dollar. So if they're switching to the stablecoin and it's bonds, that means the Fed can just go away. People will applaud that and go, way to go, kind of like when he signed the anti-CBDC situation, although that was just a transition to something worse, the stablecoin. This would be another case of that where he ended the Fed, but all in the name of bringing in the stablecoin, which is going to be a lot worse. So I just want to put that forward for you guys. Just keep an eye on it. Because that is definitely an avenue I could see them taking if they want to take it. And that's something that I'm paying attention to. I haven't seen anything out that comes out and just says, this is what's going to happen. I haven't seen that. but I've seen bits and pieces that seem to be going in that direction, like the Genius Act. Part of that has to do with that as well. So I'm seeing bits and pieces that are really pointing to that possibility, which would in turn fulfill a few things that they need to get done. So worth keeping tabs on. Okay, so in addition to cash, sources says Erebor aims to handle deposits in stablecoin, a class of digital currency with value directly pegged as a stable asset like the US dollar or gold. Lucky, who famously created the Oculus VR headset and whose net worth is pegged by Forbes at $3.6 billion, is partnering with bank startup and tech investor Joe Lonsdale. Sources close to the project. Joe Lonsdale is one of the 4 co-founders of Palantir, along with Alex Karp, Peter Thiel, and the other dude. I can never remember his name, but there's another 4th guy. Joe Lonsdale is involved with this. Remember, he's the dude that went on Sean Ryan podcast and said he has the answer to take care of all of those weird drones or UFOs that were flying all over the East Coast and so on and so forth. So yeah, Joe Lonsdale is involved with this. That should be telling you something. Lonsdale venture firm 8VC is leading a $225 million fundraising round for the startup. Cash will be used to meet federal regulatory requirements for launching a bank, sources say. The startup expected post-money valuation couldn't immediately be learned. Representatives for Lucky and Lonsdale, who will each take a seat on the new firm's board of directors, according to the sources, did not immediately comment. The Erebor project is in its early stages, and the plans have not been finalized, the sources added. The partners have yet to set a date for their startup operations. While Lucky is a co-founder, he's not expected to hold an executive role or to be involved in day-to-day operations at Erebor. The names of other co-founders and venture firms involved in the initial fundraising round couldn't immediately be learned. Talks about Erebor began soon after the sudden collapse of the 2023 Silicon Valley Bank collapse. Once the go-to bank for startup techs and venture firms, sources said. Do you guys remember that? You guys remember when the Silicon Valley Bank collapsed and how it was such a big deal? And how there was a whole bunch of other smaller banks that were getting merged and swallowed up and stuff like this? It's amazing. Now that Silicon Valley Bank goes belly up, and now the techno bros are coming in saying, we're going to replace it, but instead of cash, it'll be stablecoin. Pretty interesting how that works. As Silicon Valley Bank imploded after rising interest rates triggered a liquidity crunch that left clients unable to access their accounts and make payroll, the feds eventually moved into guaranteed deposits in order to avert full-blown financial crisis. Offering stablecoin deposits and support will allow Erebor to have constant service even during banking holidays, providing flexibility for nimble startups. Yep. I think we kind of get the idea of what's going on with this. So it's pretty interesting, the moves that are being made in regards to tech banking and stablecoin, the possibility of going around the Fed so they can get rid of them in order to bring in stablecoin based upon treasuries or bonds. And it's very interesting, the decisions and the moves that are being made. At this point, we just need to wait and see what happens, what comes about from it, because we really don't know what all this is going to eventually be leading to. But again, I think the important thing is that we are active and looking for these little nuggets that pop up here and there, because when we don't rely upon AI to do the thinking for us, when we find these little nuggets, we can start piecing things together and use our critical thinking in order to possibly see the direction that they're going to take in regards to this. Remember, they don't always have just one central roadway that they're going to do this. A lot of people think that they've got one way, plan A, there's no other plans, we're just going to roll with that. But no, they've got plan A, B, C, D, all the way down to whatever letter it is. But they've got many of them because things get messy. And they got to be able to change lanes. They got to be able to jump to a different road whenever they can. And they've done it all the time. But yet somehow they still continue to go in the direction that they want to go. And so this is one of the situations that I think that is also happening there as well. Now, speaking of Joe Lonsdale, He recently just had an interview with CNBC regarding the Israel-Iran conflict. And so I wanted to put this in here because Joe Lonsdale popped up. And so I thought it would be good to go ahead and show this. Because as you guys know, these guys, these tech dudes, whether it's Peter Thiel and Alex Karp, whether it's Joe Lonsdale, whether it's Sam Altman, whether it's Palmer Luckey with Enduro, doesn't matter. These tech guys, they like to find any way possible that where they can get a foothold in on crises that are currently happening. So I thought this would be interesting to listen to what Joe has to say in regards to this. So let's hear from Joe, shall we? What you got for us, Joe?
The reality here that people, if you want to understand Iran versus other places, is the people of Iran, the Persian people, the Kurds, the others there, they're much more natural allies of the Jews, of USA, of the West. This was a very modern country before it was conquered by these insane theocrats.
That's exactly what I would say.
That's a very important point to understand.
They were going to throw flowers at us in Iraq. That never happened.
Yeah, well, and I'm not saying they're going to throw flowers at us here, but this is a lot different situation. And it's I work with a lot of amazing Persian people. I'm really excited to invest in Iran if we can get this country to be some sort of republic, not run by crazy people. And that's.
Did you guys hear that? He said something. Let's back it up and replay it. See if you guys can catch it.
I work with a lot of amazing Persian people. I'm really excited to invest in Iran.
I'm really excited to invest in Iran. Is there something else that's going on in regards to this?
We can get this country to be some sort of republic, not run by crazy people, and that's a lot easier than doing that in Afghanistan or somewhere else.
Well, so how much do you think this is about? We were talking to the Minister of the Economy in Israel. Is it about regime change, like full-on regime change in Iran, versus just eliminating the nuclear threat?
Well, it's very clear that this administration says it's about eliminating the nuclear threat. That's their goal. I respect that. When we attacked Iraq 20 years ago, even then I thought it was a mistake versus going after Iran. Iran's clearly a really evil regime. So I've been against the Iranian regime. I've been for freeing Iran for a long time.
Freeing Iran for a long time. Now, what's interesting about this is he mentions this administration is about eliminating the nuclear threat, which is fascinating because I have seen countless people from this administration all say that they're in favor of instituting a regime change in Iran. And Trump has even hinted at it, even though he's come out and said, no, I don't want to do that. There's been hints that he has put forward saying that that's really what he wants to do. Now, the question is you've got a team of techno bros who are actually calling the shots behind Trump. At what point are they going to say, no, we need to go in and do this and we need to do that in order to install this and to install that and whatnot? So it's very interesting that this is something else that I've been tracking during this whole time too, because there's been a lot of talk about full-on regime change coming from the administration. So what that will be, what will happen, we know that there's been regime change all over the place, not just by the United States, but all these other countries. We see like what happened in Libya when Turkey went in and installed their guys. You see what happens in Sudan when Russia goes in and installs those guys, which is fascinating because Libya and Sudan are two of the smaller players involved with that Ezekiel 38 situation, with Turkey and Russia being involved as well. So regime change there. We know Iran's involved with that as well. Is there going to be regime change there? We do know that the Freemasons have a hold in Iran, and so on and so forth, which that plays into the fact of Albert Pike's Third World War situation. So there's a lot of things happening in regards to that. I'm not going to sit here and tell you which way it's going to go because I don't have a clue. I don't think anybody has a clue at this moment in time. I just think that there's a lot of interesting people discussing interesting tactics that may or may not play a factor into the future. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I saw that interview with Joe Lonsdale, and I thought it was pretty interesting that he's talking about this, talking about investing in Iran. He knows a bunch of people there. He works with a bunch of people there already. So it's very interesting how that's going to work. So I thought I'd go ahead and let you guys know the situation there on that one. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on to the next situation, the next thing that we've got here. So, Stephen Miller is somebody who's playing a big part in the Trump administration, but also playing a big part in the immigrant situation as well, about the ICE and the deportations and stuff like that. And so we recently had some public disclosure financial reports come out regarding Stephen Miller, who is the Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy and Homeland Security Advisor. And this came out, and what you will find is something pretty interesting if we go down to assets that he holds. Stephen Miller is reporting that he owns at least $100,000 to $250,000 in Palantir stock, which means the guy who's involved with orchestrating the Homeland Security and the deportation situation, who's one of the advisors in regards to it, that uses Palantir and continues to hand Palantir more contracts, happens to hold a boatload of money in that very same company. Conflict of interest much? Conflict of interest much. So you know he's making bank off of everything that's going on with that. So if we take a look, so Stephen Miller's financial stake in ICE contractor Palantir. Over a dozen Trump appointees in the White House and Department of Homeland Security have owned stock in the controversial company, raising privacy concerns across the political spectrum. Let's see if I can make this bigger for you guys. There we go. Stephen Miller, Trump's powerful Deputy Chief of Staff and Homeland Security Advisor, is more than just the architect of the administration's hardline immigration policies. He has a personal financial stake in them. Miller disclosed from $100,000 up to $250,000 of stock in Palantir, a tech company woven into the operations of the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement and used by other federal agencies such as the Pentagon. That stock ownership is previously unreported. This new information comes out from his financial disclosure recently released by the White House. Ethics experts say Miller's deep involvement in ICE's efforts and his financial stake in Palantir raises conflict of interest concerns. I would say so. So the guy who's involved with recommending Palantir to solve the immigration problem happens to have a bunch of money invested in Palantir, which means the more contracts that they hand out to that company, the more money he makes. It's almost like they told these guys ahead of time, make sure you guys invest in Palantir because we're going to let them start taking over. And sure enough, Palantir has attracted controversy in recent months, in part due to bipartisan anxiety about the privacy impacts from its widespread access to government databases and former employees who have decried its work with ICE. Both issues have intersected with Miller and his wife's White House roles. Katie Miller recently left the White House, but Palantir has also been a Wall Street star of late. Listen to this. This is how much Palantir is going through the roof. Palantir has also been a Wall Street star of late, potentially due to some of that same work. You think so? Palantir is the highest performing company in the S&P 500 this year. Its stock price is up over 80% in 2025 so far. Palantir's stock skyrocketed, up 80% this year. Palantir revealed last month in an investor presentation that the U.S. government revenue was 45% higher in the first quarter of this year compared to the same quarter last year. This is Big Daddy Palantir coming in, taking the reins, and getting involved with everything. And they're skyrocketing. The price is skyrocketing. Their reach is skyrocketing. Their data is skyrocketing. And remember, Alex Karp has an obsession with killing anybody that gets in his way. He said that. He admitted that. I played the video. He admitted, our goal is to disrupt. And if anybody gets in the way, we will kill them. It's amazing how somebody can literally say that out there and their company goes through the roof. Well, since the Obama administration, Palantir's technology has given ICE the ability to draw together sources of information to more easily identify immigrants as targets for arrest, detention, and removal from ICE. Remember, Palantir started before the Trump administration. They've just only gained power since. ICE has described its services as mission critical. ICE has recently tapped Palantir to modify its data systems to provide near real-time visibility into instances of self-deportation, as well as to inform policy and inform how ICE enforcement agents and other agency resources are used. We went over that contract a couple weeks ago as well. Well, the federal government's chief administration officer and former Palantir employee Gregory Barbacia, and at least 10 other Trump White House staffers have owned stock in Palantir, according to disclosures analyzed by the Project on Government Oversight. Miller's disclosures show he has a large stake in the company at that rest. Barbacia and 9 of the others have owned between 1,000 and 15,000 Palantir stock each, amounts low enough that they cannot pose a criminal conflict of interest due to a legal exemption, which that's a bunch of trash. As well. The 10th, Kara Frederick, is a senior policy advisor to Miller, who owns between $50,000 and $100,000 of Palantir stock. For Don Fox, a former acting head and former general counsel of the Office of Government Ethics, the nature of Miller's work and his investment in Palantir could pose a conflict of interest. He could easily become involved in policy matters that have a direct and predictable impact on Palantir, he said. That's what I mean, is you have these guys, remember, these are businessmen. Remember, that's what we were told. That's what we were told, is, well, we don't need politicians anymore, we need businessmen. But the problem is businessmen and politicians do the same thing. They find any way that they can to make money and cash in on it. That's why you have politicians go into the career path, which is not supposed to be a career path, but go into the career path broke and then somehow come away millionaires, is because of stuff like this. This is what they do. I mean, y'all remember the, what's her face? I can see her face. She's always drunk. Former Speaker of the House. I can't remember her name. But she's notorious. Her and her husband are notorious for somehow managing to buy when it's the right time and sell just before something tanks, something crashes. Thank you, Nancy Pelosi. And so on and so forth. It's amazing how that works in regards to this whole planned situation of, well, I'm involved with exactly what Palantir does or is needed for. And so I'm going to invest in them and hand out as many contracts as possible so I make as much money as possible in regards to that. Now, there was one other thing on here that I wanted to point out, I think. Where is it? Let me see. I can't find it. But yeah, this raises a good point too. It says Palantir's stock isn't the only connection the company has to the White House. Palantir's co-founder and chairman Peter Thiel, the longtime backer of Trump, was pivotal in J.D. Vance's rise to vice presidency. Remember, Peter Thiel groomed Vance straight out of college. I would say got him into college, just saying, and then out of it and got him straight into politics and so on and so forth. He groomed him to get him in and helped organize a key meeting between Trump and tech titans, or the techno bros, such as Elon Musk, shortly before Trump became president in 2016. Although Palantir's CEO Alex Karp supported Kamala Harris for presidency, he donated $1 million to Trump's inauguration in January. This month, Palantir's chief technology officer and 3 other executives from tech firms were sworn in as Army lieutenant colonels to, as the Army puts it, fuse cutting-edge tech expertise with military information. We talked about that as well. You can find the video on my channel regarding the not the CEOs, but the main dudes in the technology sector getting involved in the military as well. But yeah, I can't find it on here, but it talks about how the whole immigration and Palantir situation has direct ties to Project 2025. We've kind of mentioned Project 2025 here and there. We've mentioned some of the things that they're involved with, who's involved with that as well. And it has to do with creating, I really wish I could find that spot. I thought I remembered where it was at. But it has to do with creating basically like a shadow government of unelected people. It specifically talks about that. I really can't find it, which is really frustrating. Sorry, guys. I thought I would remember where it was at. But it has to do with creating a shadow government of these third-party processes and stuff, which is exactly what Project 2025 is. It says, where's it at? Trying to build a shadow office of legal counsel. Historically, the OLC has operated with a degree of independence. If all of a sudden the office is full of a bunch of loyalists whose only job is to rubber stamp the White House's latest policy directive, whose only goal is to justify the ends of whatever means, that would be quite dangerous, said an attorney who worked in the office under the previous Republican administration while speaking freely. This is in regards to Project 2025. And it says in his 2024 speech, Vogt, who's one of the architects of Project 25, said he was spending the majority of his time helping lead Project 2025 and drafting an agenda for the future Trump presidency. We have detailed agency plans, he said. We are writing the actual executive orders. We are writing the actual regulations now, and we are sorting out the legal authorities for all of what President Trump is running on. What he's talking about is they were already drafting, not Trump, not his actual administration, but the people of Project 2025, which Trump said he has no idea what it was, even though his entire administration is filled with people involved with it, they were actually already writing the executive orders, which is why day one, when Trump went in and signed like over 100 executive orders, they were already there, written by Project 2025. And a lot of those orders has to do with the immigration stuff, has to do with ICE, has to do with stablecoins, has to do with surveillance systems, has to do with all these things that Palantir is involved with. And remember, Palantir was already working with Trump in his first administration, and they were getting things set up for his next one. Vogt laid out that that his think tank is crafting the legal rationale for invoking the Insurrection Act. You guys remember that? A law that gives the president broad power to use military for domestic law enforcement. The Washington Post previously reported the issue at the top of the Center for Renewing America's Priorities. We want to be able to shut down the riots and not have the legal community or the defense community come in and say that's an inappropriate use of what you're trying to do. He said, Vogt held up the summer 2020 unrest following George Floyd situation that was going on there. Vogt preparations for a future Trump administration could involve a shadow office of legal counsel. He told the gathered supporters in May of 2023. That office, part of the Justice Department, advises the president on the scope of powers. Vogt made clear that he wants the office to help Trump steamroll the kind of internal opposition he faced in his first term. These guys are all working together in tandem with the outline presented in Project 2025, which has to do with creating a shadow government of third-party people, including people who are connected to Palantir, in order to install those things. And remember, because of the deportation and the immigration stuff, that's where we got a major influx of Palantir involvement and contracts that have been going to them, just as this article described, that they've been handing out more of what's going on. So you have people with conflict of interest as they own a boatload of money in the very same third-party companies that are involved with the shadow government, as well as the contracts that are being handed out to fix all these problems. So things just continue to get more and more this this idea that there's transparency, this idea that, they're making moves that benefits the country and benefits the citizens of the country is just a giant lie. Everything that is coming out regarding this administration goes to show how. See, the thing is we were presented with this illusion of one side wants chaos, the other side wants order. But in reality, we know that they scheduled Trump to win because he was the one that was going to be bringing in, through this rebuilt trust, through all the fake lawfare and through the fake assassination stuff, which I still find it fascinating how that whole thing, how people believe that was real. I don't know. I've looked at all the evidence. How somebody can have 2 centimeters of their ear get completely taken off and then wear a bandage for 3 days and then take the bandage off and his ear has no scars, no anything afterwards. It's unbelievable. But that built a giant trust factor behind him so he can introduce his administration, his Project 2025 group can introduce all of these dictatorial globalist agendas, and people are going to accept it because it's not the chaos people. Again, this is truly the illusion of what we're living under right now. And I pray people can see through it. I hear from people that says, I see through it. I see exactly what's going on. And I'm sitting there going, but yet you just said that you said that there was 2 choices. If you still think that there was choice in all this, then you don't see through it. Because that's the first step of realizing that you finally are starting to see through it. You have to break through that very front barrier. That is the first barrier that you have to break through. You don't have a choice. And so when we see things like this, when we see the corruption of conflict of interest, of third-party companies, of unelected people truly that are the ones in control. Trump's not in control of anything. He's the cult of personality puppet figure that they parade out there, who I think is starting to lose his mental capabilities if you're really paying attention to him, because the dude is going haywire, similar to what we started to see with Biden. But everybody follows him because it's the cult of personality, which means they still allow people, they still have people holding on to the fact that he is going to do good things. All the while they're installing these very same problems here. This is deception. This is truly the deception of what we're seeing today in our world right now. And it goes so much deeper. It goes so much deeper. Again, I just mentioned the first barrier. That first barrier of realizing that you don't have a choice. That's something that many people can't even get past. They can't. And it's so funny because you see the people who claim that they're the most awake, but they're truly the ones that are most asleep. If you guys know me, I said I got some of this stuff figured out, but I don't think any of us have any idea how deep the deception truly goes. I say that all the time. I think I just said it last time. I don't think when we read Matthew 24, it says, take heed, Jesus says, take heed, do not be deceived. I don't think we have an idea of the magnitude of the depths of that deception. I don't think we do, which is why we have to be so aware to not get caught up in worldly things. Don't be caught up in the worldly things. When the world is throwing everything at you to grab your attention, it's probably not where we should be looking. So we've got to be very, very careful about what we're watching, and stuff like this about Project 2025 and Silicon Valley and the Trump administration and so on and so forth. It's just a giant web that's getting woven through lies, through false sense of security, through false trust, through people. That's all the hope that they have, is by putting it into a politician. And we've got to make sure that we're not falling into that. We got to make sure that we are keeping away from what the world, what Satan wants us to place our hope in, and realize that we really only have our hope in Jesus Christ. It's tough. Tough to do. It is. I know people that says, yep, my only hope is in Jesus Christ. And then they go on and talk like, well, Trump's going to fix this and he's going to do that. And I said, you really don't. You still have some grip left on this world. Got to let go. Some people say, well, you're just being callous at that point. Maybe I am. But at least I know that I have zero hope in anybody on this earth. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. All right. Let's take a look at this. In terms of dictatorship, we take a look at this. It says, man denied U.S. entry after border agents discover bald J.D. Vance meme on his phone. It says the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement stringent procedures have once again come under scanner. That's very weird wording. Under scanner, as young traveler from Norway claimed that ICE personnel harassed him, and eventually he was denied entry to the United States. The reason that the 21-year-old cited, I think this is a translation problem that's going on here. That's all, because this is, anyways, cited was that he kept a bold meme photo of U.S. President J.D. Vance, as per reports. The tourist named Mads Mikkelsen claimed that he was harassed at Newark Airport in New Jersey on June 11th. He was visiting the U.S. to see friends in New York and Austin, Texas, as per reports on Nordlys. He said that the officers interrogated him at a separate room full of guards. He also had to show them his backpack, mobile phone, and shoes, as per the report on Nordlys. And yeah, you can see here he's got the meme. I don't know if anybody has seen those memes where they take J.D. Vance's face and they stick it on like eggs and other things like that. That's basically what that is. When the authority checked the phone, they came across the J.D. Vance meme photo with a bald, as per the report on Nordlys. Earlier this year, a 4-year-old and 7-year-old with U.S. citizenship were reported alongside their mother to Honduras last week, the family's lawyer said, adding to the recent string of American citizens caught in the crosshairs of the Trump administration's immigration crackdown. The move comes as the Trump administration has ramped up its immigration enforcement and mass deportation efforts. Immigration advocates and the American Civil Liberties Union have condemned the administration's actions, raising concerns due to concerns of due process, which, again, I've covered some of that stuff as well, where there's actual U.S. citizens that are just getting arrested and shipped out of the country, even though they were born here. They've always been a U.S. citizen and so on and so forth. There's countless reports coming out all over the place of this stuff happening. They're just grabbing people. Have you guys seen the videos? The videos of these ICE agents, they pull up, speed up in their truck, get out, slam people to the ground, put cuffs on them, throw them into the truck and speed away. It's like kidnapping. There's no true identification of who that person is. They're not checking the person. They're not making sure anybody who steps in the way, they get arrested for doing it too. It's getting crazy out there in terms of what's going on. It's illegal. It's 100% illegal in that case. But this isn't the only one who's reported this. There's been some other reports. There's like an Australian dude who said that he was interrogated and deported as well because he wrote like a news article that was like pro-Palestinian regarding the whole thing going on over there. And so he was deported for it. And even though he was just vacationing here and stuff like that, there's been a whole bunch of reports of this, of just thought police. Well, you don't have the correct thought, or you have a meme against one of our administrations. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick you up and we're going to throw you back out of the country because you aren't falling in line with exactly how we want you to fall in line. That's really what's going on in regards to this. So you can't have your own opinion. You can't have your own thought. And sooner or later, they're going to start coming after U.S. citizens in that way. I mean, they're already doing it to somewhat of an extent. We know that. But it's going to start getting worse, where anybody who has these ideas that are different from what the almighty Trump administration wants us to have. They're going to start taking us down, kind of like what we've seen in other countries. Just like we've seen this from Texas. I talked about this as well. Dade Phelan's bill would criminalize political memes, which is what the Norway dude had. Courts have routinely struck down laws that regulate political disclosure based on content, citing that the First Amendment strong protections for satire and parody. Posting a political meme could soon land you in jail if State Representative Dade Phelan gets his way. House Bill 366 would make it a crime to distribute altered media, including political memes, without a government-approved disclaimer. Violators could face up to a year in jail. Yeah, so when we talked about this has to do with it, like the picture that one dude had, the egghead JD Vance meme. If there wasn't a stamp, government-approved stamp on that picture that said that it was altered, and he was a U.S. citizen in Texas, he could get thrown in jail for just having that. That's where we're getting. That's where we're at right now. See, I thought, and this is what I was told, that it's only the left that started making laws based upon their feelings. Well, you hurt my feelings, so I'm going to arrest you for it. Isn't that the same thing with what we're seeing now? Well, if you go against what Trump says, or you go against our administration, if you have a thought that goes against what we want you to have, or if you hold a political meme that offends us in some type of way, then we're going to arrest you for it. We're going to deport you for it. We're going to do this and that. It's the same thing. It's literally the exact same thing that the left gets accused of, and the right's doing it. It's because they both do it. They both do dystopian laws based upon thought policing. That's really what's happening in regards to that. Sticking with immigration, we got this. It says 100% didn't show up to work due to raids, farmer says. In Donna, Texas, Rio Grande Valley farmers say that they are feeling the effects of having no workers show up due to the continued U.S. immigration and customs enforcement raids. Farmer Nick Billman from Donna says the raids have caused people to not show up to work, leaving farmers without any help. He says things starting to get worse just weeks ago. I would say within the last 3 weeks it started to slow down, but this last week has been huge, Billman said. That is when it has been 0 people wanting to come out and be exposed to be able to be picked up, whether they are legal or illegal. This isn't just illegals that aren't showing up to work. This is U.S. citizens that aren't even showing up to work because ICE raids are going in and swallowing up people without due process, without identity checks, without citizen checks, taking both legal and illegal people in giant swaths. This is what I've been talking about. So now you have actual U.S. citizens that don't even want to show up to work because they think that they'll get hauled off by immigration. But nobody sees the problem with this. Nobody sees a problem with this. Well, the farmers are seeing a problem with it because they don't have anybody showing up to work. Farmers are shutting down actual farms because they haven't had anybody showing up to work for weeks. They can't get anybody to work. And so the farms are actually shutting down. Crops are dying because people can't take care of it. The individual farmers can't take care of it. You don't think that this is going to have a repercussion? I do. However, there's some optimism as Trump acknowledges that his immigration policies are affecting U.S. farmers. Again, this is one of those things that he's been flip-flopping on because he said, we're going to go after the illegals. And then the next week he said, we're going to make an exception for hotel workers, farm workers, and other hospitality workers. Then he said, we're not going to do that. Now we're just going to start going after everybody. Then the next week he said, we're going to have an exception for it. He just flip-flops. That's all he does on all these things. He just flip-flops. He says one thing, he does another. He says this thing, he does that. He goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So nobody knows what's going on. This is confusion. This is apparently the administration of transparency that we continue to get rammed down our throats. But yet, we have farms shutting down because both illegal and legal citizens don't want to show up to work. 100% don't want to come out of fear of being picked up, even if they are doing it the right way. Billman was left alone cleaning the debris from Thursday night's storm. He says people are afraid to show up to work and believes the country's food supply could be impacted if this continues. Oh, don't worry. They'll just import food that have a bunch of tariffs on it, and then we'll pay for it that way. It could be to the point where we lose our planting and have the ground ready. And even then, why plant if we cannot even harvest? The farmer said. My family and I can harvest by hand ourselves, but the amount we need in order to cover the cost of growing, we have to have much broader personnel than just families hands-on. Billman says migrants help maintain and prepare the land for planting, taking on some of the heaviest work. He says ICE rates have farmers like him worried as well because they do not want to get in trouble because of who they hire. We don't ask people for papers as it's not our job, Billman says. If someone is willing to work, they're going to give them a 1098 form, and they signed up on it. They gave paid, and whether they pay their taxes, that is their responsibility. We are worried that we are going to the wording on this, man, none of these websites have proper English. I'll tell you what, we are worried that we are going to get scrutiny over it if they come and raid our fields, as we don't know who is legal and who is not because we don't ask that. Man, it's almost like this stuff's written by AI. I'll tell you what, this is typed terribly. But yeah, this is something that we got to continue to watch. I've also seen some reports, I haven't confirmed it, but I've also seen some reports that farmer suicide is skyrocketing as well. So that's something to keep an eye on as well. So if there's an increase in that. All right, continuing on, let's take a look at what's going on with this. So while everything is happening, make that bigger. While everything is happening, just sliding underneath, it's because it's all forgotten about now, is the bird flu situation. It says exclusive USDA developed potential plan to jab poultry for bird flu. This comes out on the 20th. Came out on the 20th. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is considering a potential plan to jab poultry against bird flu for the first time that includes evaluating how it would affect exports, the agency told Reuters this week. The actions advance the government's assessment of a jab after the USDA received proposals on usage from associations representing egg and turkey producers whose farms have been devastated by the virus. Nearly 175 million chickens, turkeys, and other birds have been culled in attempts to contain outbreaks since 2022 in the nation's worst animal health emergency. It goes on to talk about eggs and stuff. It says the USDA pledged to spend up to $100 million on research into jabs and other therapies to combat bird flu after price spiked. Now USDA and industry officials are pursuing a more solid written plan to potentially show importers to gauge whether jabs could limit trading. Industry members expect the agency to complete the plan in July, so be watching for that, guys. If you see something coming out regarding the USDA poultry jabs coming out in July, keep an eye on it. If I miss it, send it to me. USDA said this week that it is working with federal and state and industry officials to develop its potential plan and is engaging with trading partners. Need more complete strategy and plan for them to consider, said John Clifford, former USDA chief veterinarian officer who advises the USA Poultry and Egg Export Council. Debates over potential jabs have pitted poultry producers against each other since the widespread outbreaks in 2015, and so on and so forth. But we have the USDA here who is moving forward to start jabbing chickens, start jabbing turkeys, which means we're going to start seeing all that stuff. They already jab them up with a whole bunch of other stuff, but now we got this coming in. One of the plans that they want to do, and this was announced in February, this is the Trump administration shifts strategy on avian flu. We talked about this a while ago, but I do want to remind you guys to go down that they are working on multiple ways of getting this done. Where is it at? Right here. Can you guys see that? There we go. This is while not widely available, some alternative methods for jabbing chickens against bird flu are being explored. Spray jabs. So through sprays, through drinking water. Start putting it in the chicken's water. And of course, the aerosol spray as well in regards to that. So you got one where they just do mass sprays on them. You got one through drinking water, and then they got one for individual sprays as well. So this is what the USDA is working on. This is what the Trump administration is continuing. This is not brand new. This is what Biden's administration was doing. And so Trump's administration is just carrying on doing the exact same thing, literally the exact same thing that Biden was doing. So there's no difference there. It's just a continuation of what's happening. And so this just goes to show that the plan is right on track for what they were trying to do in regards to this bird flu stuff. They put a whole bunch of distractions in front of us in order to make sure that we're not paying attention anymore. Meanwhile, they're moving ahead with trying to get all the chickens jabbed up as well. So I don't know what the final outcome is going to be. I really don't. Whether the bird flu plays a bigger part in the plan coming forward, I'm not sure. It could be, it could not be. But either way, they're still moving forward with these jabs, and I don't trust any of that stuff. I absolutely do not trust any of it. My suggestion, and I always suggest this, is make sure that before you eat anything, and that even includes your bag of Cheetos or your moon pie, is to make sure that you're praying over that thing. And I'll tell you what, every meal that I have, I pray over it and say, Lord, please bless this to the best of my body. Just don't let it kill me. You know what? If it does, though, I know where I'm going. But either way, I'm still praying over my food. So, see, that's the hope and the promise that we have in Jesus Christ. Whether the food takes us or we go up in the rapture or you walk out into the street and get hit by a bus, doesn't matter. We know that where we're going. We have security, and we understand it's going to be a lot better than this place. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm definitely confident in whatever the world brings my way, because I know that I am protected by God. I have the promise of salvation. It's just a wonderful feeling. It's one of those situations where I think to myself, how on earth do people go about their lives without the promise that Jesus Christ gives us? I'd be constantly scared. I mean, a lot of these people are scared. A lot of them are just ignorant. They have no idea what's going on. But it's just a case of, how do you go through life without that security? That's the ultimate security. That's just, whatever comes my way, it doesn't matter, because to some people, death is the most frightening thing that they can deal with in life. And I'm sitting there going, death is the least of my worries. Death is something that I never worry about. I never fear. I don't have to fear it. Remember, that's the promise that we have through Jesus Christ. Is, death, where is your sting? And so it's one of those things where it's like, we can taunt death because our Savior has defeated death. We don't have to worry about it. There's no worry in it at all. And it's just a beautiful comfort. Just a beautiful comfort knowing that we don't have to fear that. Spiders, on the other hand, just get that stuff away from me. That's all I can say. All right. Just got a couple more things left. Let's keep going. So, going on over in the UK, it says every baby in the UK to receive DNA testing. Personalized medicine made possible through things like DNA testing will form a big part of the Health Security's new plan for the NHS. Now, this is one of those situations where personalized medicine, gene sequencing, personalized drugs, predictive healthcare. These are the exact same things that we've seen coming out of the One Health globalist agenda. You guys know the One Health situation regarding that. It's the exact same thing. It's the same thing that we've seen in Stargate, the whole personalized medicine through AI situation. And now we see the same thing happening with newborns in the United Kingdom. All of them are going after the same goal. They're just being presented in different ways, but it's all the same thing. It's about full access to your genome, your DNA, to personalize, to track, to maintain down to a cellular level your body. And so it's continuing on in that same agenda. It says every baby in the UK will have their DNA tested under a new 10-year plan for the NHS. The whole genome sequencing will screen for hundreds of diseases and allow people to leapfrog killer illnesses, according to the Health Secretary, Wes Streeting. Speaking to the Telegraph, he revealed plans to move the NHS towards a model of sickness prevention rather than treatment. Prevention, predictive. Remember how we were talking about the cell phone data for the speeders for predicting? That same algorithmic idea, principle is being applied to the healthcare situation as well. It's the same thing. Personalized medicine, made possible through things like DNA testing, will form a big part of that plan, with 650 million euro pledged to genomics research by the government. The revolution in medical science means that we can transform the NHS over the coming decades from a service which diagnoses and treats ill health to one that predicts and prevents it. Genomics presents us with the opportunity to leapfrog disease, so we're in front of it rather than reacting to it. And so this is the new direction that it's moving in when it takes people's genomes and sequences together, adds it to your social profile, feeds it to an AI system, and can then start predicting what they want to do with your body. It says newborns are currently offered a blood test when they are around 5 days old to check for 9 rare but serious conditions. This is the heel prick thing. In those blood spot tests, the baby's heel is pricked to collect a few drops of blood on a card, but the whole genome sequencing blood samples are typically taken from the umbilical cord shortly after birth. This is just sick, I'll tell you what. In the past, Mr. Streeting has spoken about his desire to make the NHS more preventative in order to reduce rates of serious illnesses and save money. Technologies like artificial intelligence will be used by the health service to predict illness and allow treatment or medication to be offered much earlier. It's the exact same thing as One Health. It's the exact same thing as Stargate. It's the exact same thing that they are deploying all over the place. It's about taking your cells, your DNA, your genome, sequencing it together to apply it to your digital twin in a social profile and allowing AI to monitor, track, and predict you down to a cellular level. And this is exactly what they've continued to do in regards to all of this, which should not surprise us at all. Let me see here. Yeah. So here's the thing. While this is going on, we have the WEF doing their summer Davos, their meeting of champions, as they call it. They do it every year because the WEF has a headquarters in China. And they're talking about 10 technologies that can be used in the future, emerging technologies of the future. And one of them, through this report here, we're going to take a look, is autonomous biochemical sensing and basically wiring biological sensors for real-time insight. So these are sensors that are applied to either our bodies or to nature in order to produce real-time tracking. And then they can actually use AI and other devices to alter the state of whatever it's on, whether it's the human body or whether it's nature, like soil or plants or something like that. And this is one of the things that they're talking about right now, literally right now. And so we can see here, it says autonomous biochemical sensors are analytical devices that autonomously and continuously detect and quantify specific biochemical parameters, such as disease markers for patient individualized health management. That's literally what we just read in the UK. That's literally what Stargate is about. Such as disease markers for patient individualized health management. That is identical to what we just saw in the UK, what we just saw with the One Health situation, what we just saw with Stargate, everything. It's the exact same thing. Or chemical changes in soil or water for environmental management. Let's see here. Yeah, it says, while typical sensors such as well-known COOF tests are single-use, the challenge in autonomous biochemical sensing is to achieve continuous monitoring and electronic data capture. Such technical limitations have restricted autonomous biochemical sensors to very specific applications. The most successful to date is the wearable glucose sensor, which measures glucose concentration in real time and communicates with a smartphone that controls an insulin pump to stabilize glucose levels. Some of the biggest companies investing in the development and manufacturing of these technologies include Abbott Laboratories and Roche DuPont. It says, due to simultaneous advancements in materials science, nanotechnologies, biomimetics, and wireless technologies, autonomous biochemical sensing is emerging to address other targets and applications. An example is the inclusion of an active reset function in a wearable sensor for inflammation markers, enabling continuous monitoring instead of a single use. Wearable sensor that continuously monitors you while you're wearing it and will work without just a single use, but will continue to do it. US-based Prosperity Health is developing wearables for continuous monitoring of female hormones for ovulation tracking, fertility treatments, and menopause care. An ongoing development are microbial whole cell biosensors employing microbes that produce or deplete an enzyme when they encounter, gotta move over, what they are targeted to detect, that enzyme being their means of signaling detention. So we are talking about a continuous wearable sensor that is always down to your cellular level, tracking you, giving reports, and then if connected to some other device, will constantly administer whatever it's supposed to. Now, if we jump out, I think there was one other section I wanted to point out. Yeah, it's the next part. We jump out, I wanted to show you this too, because this is in line with it. Number 9 says collaborative sensing, empowering connected systems to make context-aware decisions. So this has to do with it too, but on a bigger scale. So sensing devices are now ubiquitous in people's homes, vehicles, and workplaces. Already useful in isolation, these distributed sensors are increasingly being connected to each other and integrated with AI-infused systems, paving the way for rapid advances in collaborative sensing that can generate insights to improve the capabilities of individual sensors. Beyond autonomous urban mobility, promising applications for collaborative sensing are diverse, including perceptive mobile networks that combine communications and sensing on the same network. Collaborative sensing will reshape how cities operate and how organizations use information to make decisions. But there is another part here. Where is it at? Right here. Promising applications for collaborative sensing are diverse, including improving urban mobility. For example, connected traffic lights can be dynamically adjusted themselves based on traffic cameras and environmental sensors to manage urban congestion and emissions level. Other examples are collaborative sensing, including large-scale autonomous mapping in mines, analyzing storm systems, drone swarms, Internet of Things-based structural health monitoring, which is exactly everything that we've been talking about, the Internet of Things, and environmental monitoring and bringing more precision to agriculture and natural source management. See, the Internet of Bodies is having devices on or inside of you that connect you to the Internet of Things. It allows full one united system health to allow your body to be transferred into the same data stream as the collection of all other data into the Internet of Things, connecting everything together, part of the oneness thing, One Health, and so on and so forth, and sending it off to the data centers to be collected and evaluated. So when you're talking about these biosensors, when you're talking about personalized health, when you're talking about AI-driven health, when you're talking about all these things, this is part of that Internet of Things structure that is so important to the quote-unquote globalists, but we're starting to see it through every aspect of what we got going on. If that's not enough, I wanted to point this out too. It says, a key to unlocking the benefits of collaborative sensing at scale and achieving true collaborative autonomy will be multimodal algorithms that can process numerous varieties of sensor data, from LiDAR, light detection and ranging, to EO/IR, electro-optical and infrared cameras, to radar and beyond. Much of this work is currently focused on balancing a shared information landscape and operational picture with distributing processing. And it also says minimizing bandwidth and power requirements, generative AI may play a role here. Basically, utilizing LiDAR and infrared. I've talked about how they have sensors where it's an infrared sensor that they can shoot at your heart or your chest, and it can read your heartbeat and identify you through your heartbeat. Did you know everybody has a individual heartbeat? It's interesting. Like we have individual fingerprints and teeth and all that type of stuff. We also have personalized heartbeats. They have infrared sensors like that. They can shoot at your chest and they can identify who you are through that. What they're talking about is on a grander scale. They can shoot these things through your walls and identify who you are. This is what they're talking about. This is the Internet of Things. This is the Internet of Bodies. This is about identification down to a cellular level. They want to be able to know who you are. They know you more than you know yourself. Now, why am I bringing this up? Well, first of all, this is the agenda that they've been working on, that we've been talking about, and they're continuing to do it. But along with that, let's see if I can bring up the right thing here. Along with that, we just got an announcement from RFK, from RFK Jr., which is fascinating. The same time that the WEF is talking about this stuff, the RFK is getting asked about this as well. Let's hear from RFK Jr., who supposedly is on our side.
Secretary Kennedy, my first question is that there is a tremendous amount of research that shows that greater engagement with one's health leads to better outcomes. In recent years, American innovators have created and improved wearable devices so that not only are consumers able to better engage with their health through monitoring data, but they are able to share that data with providers. I believe American consumers, in line with the 21st Century Cures Act, should be able to access these innovative wellness tools. Secretary Kennedy, do you agree that consumers should continue to have access to these tools?
Absolutely. In fact, we're about to launch one of the biggest advertising campaigns in HHS history to encourage Americans to use wearables. It's a way.
Did you guys hear that? He believes in wearables. They're about to launch the biggest campaign to encourage Americans to wear wearables. Literally the exact same thing that the WEF wants to do, that the WHO wants to do, that the globalists wants to do. He's doing the exact same thing. Keep going.
Launch one of the biggest advertising campaigns in HHS history to encourage Americans to use wearables. It's a way of people can take control over their own health. They can take responsibility. They can see, as you know, what food is doing to their glucose levels, their heart rates, and a number of other metrics as they eat it. And they can begin to make good judgments about their diet, about their physical activity, about the way that they live their lives. We think that wearables are a key to the MAHA agenda, making America healthy again. And we are going to, my vision is that every American is wearing a wearable within 4 years.
His vision is that every American will be wearing a wearable in 4 years. Interesting. So this guy who apparently is on our side is actually doing exactly what the globalists have been wanting to do. Doing the exact same thing. What's fascinating is I didn't point it out, but in that article or the document provided by the WEF, it talks about how these tools will be able to use energy harvesting to power them. What is energy harvesting? It's taking human energy to power a biocell within the device, powering it. So you never have to change the batteries. The human powers the device. Well, we've been talking about for years now. I think I brought this up like 2.5 years ago. 6G has been proven that it can take human energy from a large scale aspect and power devices through human energy. We were told that this was going to happen in the Matrix. Now, there's a lot of people that may not know what predictive programming is. Many people may not believe what it is. But this is exactly what the Matrix told us in 1999. And they're telling us that even this stuff will use human energy to power these devices. And RFK Jr. wants to do it. Let's take a look at this, shall we? I'm sure you guys will remember this dude's mug.
Aujourd'hui, au bout de ça, on parle de puces qu'on pourra s'implanter. Ce sera quand ça?
Certainement dans les 10 années à venir. Et d'abord, on va les implanter dans nos vêtements, c'est-à-dire wearables, comme on le dit. Et après, on pourrait s'imaginer qu'on les implante dans...
So Klaus Schwab in 2019 is saying first there'll be wearables like on your clothes, then it will implant them in our brains and in our skin.
Dans nos cerveaux ou dans notre peau. Et à la fin, peut-être il y a une communication directe entre notre cerveau et le monde digital. Ce que nous voyons, c'est une sorte de fusion du monde physique, digital et biologique.
We think that wearables are a key to the MAHA agenda, making America healthy again. And we are going to, my vision is that every American is wearing a wearable within 4 years.
So literally doing exactly what Klaus Schwab has been wanting to do with the WEF. Identical. Nothing's changed. Nothing has changed. Not a thing has changed. It's just continued. It's sped up. It's ultimately sped up. And we continue to go further and further down that road. Now, this also has an involvement with this as well. I've talked about this before. I think I talked about this like a year and a half, 2 years ago, something like that. But yeah, back in October of 2019, Bill Barr and Trump, they worked together with a dude from Walmart to develop the DEEP program. And you can see here, this was issued by the Office of the Attorney General, William Barr. Subject: implementation of the National Disruption and Early Engagement Programs to counter the threat of mass shootings. DEEP, or Disruption and Early Engagement Programs. So this is Operation DEEP. And they use the idea of the threat of mass shootings to develop a program for wearable technology to read brainwaves in order to determine predictively if that person was going to commit a shooting. What they were implementing was wearable technology that would read the brainwaves and, similar to like what we see in Minority Report and so on and so forth, determine if that person is going to commit a crime before they actually commit it, and then arrest them for it. Well, what they wanted to do is they wanted people wearing these devices, and if they think that they're going to commit a mass shooting, they would pick them up and throw them into an insane asylum. And this became a much larger project. It just kind of kept developing into bigger things, and so on and so forth. This program is still active. This thing never went away. When it was implemented in 2019, it didn't just go away. Biden took over. The Biden administration took it over. They started to move forward with it, and now the Trump administration is still working with it as well. So when you're talking about wearable devices that they want to implement, it's in line with this as well, the DEEP program from back then. With these devices, we also get things like this. It says your Alexa and Fitbit can testify against you in court. In today's digital world, Big Brother may be on your wrist, but in your room or inside your heart. They can take all these spyware things that monitor you, listen to you, record you, and they can be used against you in the court of law if they so choose to do so. Ensuring cybersecurity of medical devices. It says hacking of hearing aids can be spying related. All of the audio data can be intercepted, so they can essentially just listen in on our conversations, and they can grab even geolocation data. So there's a huge variety of exploits associated with the Internet of Things devices. So all these things can listen to you, even track your location. Remember, RFK wants every American to be wearing a wearable that can do all these things. CRISPR on your wrist. Wearable CRISPR microneedle patch for extraction and real-time monitoring of cell-free DNA. Got that. And then we've talked about this as well. ARPA-H, which is the health arm of DARPA, pretty much. ARPA-H launches a program for real-time drug delivery and disease tracking. Basically, what this is there's two programs that they have. One is called the Living Sentinel, and the other one's called Living Pharmacy. And they're devices that go on and inside you that track your health and then will deploy medicine based upon whatever it's reading. And it'll just automatically inject it into your body when it senses that you need it. And then that report is also uploaded to your phone and to your doctor's database. This is the global agenda of full tracking and tracing. You can apply this to things like digital vax passports, which they've been talking about. Well, if you have a wearable that is constantly maintaining your cellular level on that, it can determine if you have taken the jab. It can determine what your health is. They can determine if you're infected. And so all they have to do is scan all that, and your entire profile gets brought up because of the wearables that's going on. These devices that inject and alter cell stuff. Again, these are things that they can just start applying to it. And then, of course, we know that it can all be powered through human energy, and it continue to move forward in that way. So this grants them access to literally every aspect of your life down to your cellular level. And this is something that the globalists have been working on for a very long time. And this is something that even the Trump administration is working on. Through wearables, through Stargate, we see what's going on in the UK with what they want to do with gene sequencing there. And it all has to do with getting down to your biological level. There's many aspects why they would want to do that. We know that there's eventually coming, we read in Revelation about the mark of the beast. I believe that that mark is going to alter people's DNA, so they're not going to be 100% human anymore. There's many reasons why I believe that. A lot of it has to do with the days of Noah. A lot of it has to do with realizing why Christ came 100% man, 100% God. He came as man because it's through the human bloodline that we are able to, that his sacrifice is able to cover us, and so on and so forth. Then there's also the spiritual aspect of it as well, where I went over this in the Eden End book. So if you want more information in regards to that, you can check out the book. But in regards to cellular and brainwave level of creating a universal absolute intelligence, or taking human and AI in order to create God, where God doesn't exist yet, and we must combine with technology in order to create God, or the absolute or universal intelligence, and so on and so forth. So there's many different levels to why these people are trying to do this. And so there's some very interesting things. It's not just about, because we can just take it to the most simplistic form of, it's all about tracking us. It's all about control. They just want to control us. They just want to track us. And that's that. It's like, well, I mean, that's, yeah, to a certain level, but there really is much more to it in terms of biblical options, as well as the spiritual aspect of what they're trying to do. And that's usually what leads this stuff. That's not usually, but that is what leads this stuff to progress further, is that level, not the surface level. All the people that we see, talking heads, Klaus Schwab and so on and so forth, is all about, control and trace and all that stuff. That's what they're looking for. But when you start getting deeper into who's actually developing these things, what's leading them, there's the spiritual and the biblical elements that are involved, that those are the main contributors to this. And so they're definitely moving forward with this. Nothing has slowed down. Nothing has stopped. We definitely see that coming out of the UK and coming out of the mouth of RFK Jr. there. But that's the thing, is they're trying every possible way to use technology to get to know us on a cellular level, down to a DNA level. But they will never be able to know us on the same level that God does. Remember, he knows every hair on our head. He knew us before we were even born. He knows us on such a deep level that while Satan tries everything that he possibly can to use technology to try and get to that level that God knows about us, it's never going to happen. He can't do it. It's impossible. He's going to try, though. His pride just blinds him, so he continues to try. But that's what he's doing. That's what Satan is doing. He's trying to use this technology in order to play God. Try and know us at such a deep level that only God can understand, but that's never going to happen. And again, that should bring comfort. That should bring comfort to us. I know it does to me. Very similar to what we were talking about when it comes to not fearing death and not worrying about death. Taking comfort. And no matter what comes at us in this world, what is coming afterwards is so much greater. It brings us a peace. And so this should bring us a peace as well. While they are attempting to watch us, God is watching them. And so the God that we serve our God is watching them, and that should bring comfort to us. They can try and look at us and track us and trace us and do all this stuff to us, but ultimately it's only God that allows things to happen, and He's the one that has full view of us, and that should bring comfort. Now, if you're one of those people that don't have that comfort, yeah, you should probably be freaking out right now. You should probably be worried because you ain't going to beat it. Not going to happen. But if you want to have the same comfort that I do, then the only way is to give your life to Jesus Christ and accept the salvation that only He can give you. And it's through His gospel that He provides that, which is as simple as ABC. A, as you admit that you're a sinner, the act of repentance, or metanoia, the changing of mind, turning from self to Christ, allows true understanding of why we need Jesus Christ as our Savior. Because how can we believe in a Savior if we don't know why we need that Savior? And so it's through repentance that allows true belief in Jesus Christ. We believe that Jesus Christ is the one and only begotten Son of God, that He came down 100% man, 100% God, the God-man, the one and only, and there is no other. And He lived the perfect sinless life, which made Him the only one qualified to carry the sins of the world upon His shoulders to the cross, where He was crucified and He died. But because there's power in the blood of Jesus Christ, and He did exactly as He promised He would, exactly as He said He would, He defeated death and rose again on the third day. For all who believe in Him shall not perish, but live forever in His presence and in His glory. Glory is His, not ours, because there's nothing that we can do. We can't earn it. We can't buy it. We can't work for it. No, when He was on that cross and He said, "It is finished," He meant it is finished. And so we must place our belief, our trust, and our faith in Him. Saying the sinner's prayer and knowing the story doesn't work. No, we are told to place our faith in Him. And see, as we call upon the Lord, we get wonderful access to speak to God, to go directly to God through prayer. So we just say, "Lord Jesus, I am a sinner and I have sinned and I need You alone to save me. Lord Jesus, I believe that You are the one and only begotten Son of God, that You came down and lived the perfect sinless life, that You died upon the cross and that You rose again on the third day. Lord Jesus, I need You. Come into my life and save me, Lord Jesus." Amen. I urge you guys, if you don't have the Lord, get to Him now. Don't wait. Don't think that you can beat this, because you can't. And if you're sitting here worried about this in any capacity, you need to make sure that you get to the Lord, because it's through His promise, it's through the hope that we have in Him, that you don't have to worry about any of this. None of this stuff freaks me out. None of this stuff scares me. I don't give a rip about any of this, because I know that this body is temporary. They can attempt to do whatever they want to me through this body, but eventually I'm going to go home. I'm going to have a brand new body. It's going to be perfect, and I'm going to be able to live in the glory that is Jesus Christ. And so why would I worry about what's going on here? I don't. I do not. All right. We are definitely going late tonight. We got a few questions. See if we can jam through some of these questions. I apologize for going late. Let's see. Donna Roth, question. Just wondering if anyone else has been praying for the rapture now more than ever before. Yeah, every day. I say this every day, probably 20 times a day. Lord, I'm ready to go home. Out loud, I say that about 20 times a day. I tell the Lord I'm ready to go home. He knows, and He loves hearing it. So continue to pray that prayer. Continue to pray that prayer. Let's see here. Patrick Starr question, why has the media been making it look like all of Israel's enemies are being destroyed? Hamas, Hezbollah, Iran, etc. I know it's all staged, but it seems like they're getting set up for something. I know Hamas and Hezbollah has really been taking it. I'm not so sure that's as much theatrics as probably just getting rid of people. The Iran thing, though, I don't know if anybody's been following that, but that's a giant theatrical psyop that's going on over there. I posted a little bit of something about it, but the bunker buster bombs that the United States used can't even go deep enough to reach the facility. Plus, that doesn't even take into account the architecture of the facility, which is supposedly just magnificently built for security. Plus, you look at the fact that Trump warned Iran 2 days in advance that they were going to bomb them. That wasn't a surprise. He warned them. And then on top of that, the 2 days prior, there was activity of moving uranium out of that facility. So the whole thing that's going on over there is theatrics. And then Iran even warned the United States beforehand that they were going to launch rockets at the military base in Qatar. And they said ahead of time, hey, we're gonna shoot rockets over there. Okay. So they prepared for it. They got ready for it. And so it's all theatrics. Everything that's been going on in regards to all that stuff with the United States and Iran and everything is so over the top theatrical. Nobody knows what is going on over there. Nobody has a clue. And so it's definitely just one of those things that is just, it's ridiculous. So when it comes to Hamas, we understand that Hamas was a created being with the help Iran forces, along with the CIA, with funding coming from Israel through Qatar to Hamas. We know that's going on with that. So I think that there's definitely a lot happening there that is real. I think there is some stuff that is fake, obviously, orchestrated stuff. Hezbollah, I think that's something that every once in a while just gets out of hand. It goes, they actually are hitting each other. The Iran thing, though, that's theatrics for sure. So we just got to see what's going to happen. Again, I take up my position, and I've been there from the beginning. You guys know that when it comes to the Middle East stuff, everybody tries to say they're figuring it out. Everybody says this is happening and that's happening. But I'm telling you, things change on the dime. It's orchestrated. There's theatrics. There's some off-script stuff as well, because that stuff happens. But ultimately, nobody has a clue what's going on over there. That's why we don't do much talking about that. That's why we don't do much talking about it, is because things change on a dime, and the news that we're getting is so wrong. It's always wrong. I remember when that whole ceasefire thing came out. You had one media company saying Iran says that they don't agree to it. Then you have Trump saying that both parties agree to it. Then you have Israel saying no comment. And then supposedly there was a ceasefire. Then rockets started getting fired. Then supposedly that wasn't the ceasefire. Then there's this ceasefire time. Then missiles were getting bombed through Israeli jets. Then they said, no, that wasn't the ceasefire. Now there's this ceasefire where Iran has to stop at this time and Israel has to stop at that time. And it's just, nobody has a clue what's going on. Nobody has a clue. And while everybody is sitting there just watching the lights flash in regards to that, which it's good to keep an idea of what's going on, make sure you're watching. We just went over a whole bunch of stuff that all just managed to slide completely under the radar while all this is going on. And that's how they do it. When this hand's flashing, this hand's over here doing something in the darkness. And I swear, if I hear that this is the beginning of Ezekiel 38 one more time, I'm going to flip my lid. I'll tell you what. Anyways, that's a different subject. Let's keep moving. Jalapeno. I don't know if this is true or not, but have you heard about Japan making a synthetic blood that is compatible with all blood types? What is your thoughts on that, if true, or is it just propaganda? I've seen some stuff regarding this. I don't know if it's actually true though. It would not surprise me. They've been working on this type of stuff for a long time, a synthetic blood. It's not like oil though. That's the thing, is you can make synthetic oil. How you can make synthetic blood, I just don't see how that's possible, because how the blood works is it takes on so many different roles, and just as it circulates through our body, it has to do so many different things that I don't know if they can make that. Maybe they can. I know what you're talking about, but I can't confirm that, man. I can't confirm that. Let's see here. Babab, Cyrus Accord, U.S. and Israel to rebuild Iran. Are you familiar with the accord? Works well with the investor you highlighted. It wouldn't surprise me. I haven't heard anything about it, but it wouldn't surprise me. But I don't think they're going to decimate Iran. That's the thing. But we'll see. Again, who knows? But no, I don't know anything about that, Babab. Sorry. Victoria. I'm not even going to read it. How dare you? Absolutely not. I'm going to tell my mail place to reject all packages from Victoria. That's what I'm going to do. What are you doing? See, that's the thing, is you can send that to me, but it's actually going to a mail place, so they're the ones that'll probably have to deal with it, not me. Oh, man. Let's see here. Is that it? I think so. Last question from the Peanut Gallery, of course. Stephanie, question. A room 30 feet long, 12 feet wide, and 12 feet high contains a spider and a fly. What is with you? What are we doing? What are we doing, people? What are we doing? No. I abstain. I abstain. I'm absolutely abstaining. That's my rule. You and the spider thing. Nope. You and the spiders can just I don't know. Go live together in your own place. I ain't doing the spider stuff. Not happening. All right, guys. That's all we got. Thank you guys for joining me today. Sorry for going long. I apologize. But yeah, usual spiel. If you guys can, like, share, subscribe. Get this out to as many people as you can. It's not about views, not about butts and seats, but it is about getting the warning out to people and getting people to Jesus. So you guys can do me a solid and like, share, subscribe. I would certainly appreciate it. It helps reach people who have questions, who are seeking answers, and may not know the Lord, and we can give them the hope and the salvation that only Jesus Christ can have. So if you guys can do me a solid, I would appreciate that. Also, make sure you guys follow me, Rumble and Telegram. Those are my backup channels. If I get booted off YouTube, we'll be back up live streaming over on Rumble. And then, of course, we'll be, make sure you guys follow me on Telegram as well, because I post updates and announcements and other little things here and there like that on that channel as well. So make sure you guys go ahead and follow me over there. Best place to stay up to date, of course, is the WretchedWatchmen.com website. That's your one-stop shop to stay up to date on everything that's going on. So make sure you guys go ahead and follow me over there. Find the latest podcast announcements and all that type of stuff. Bookmark that page. Over there you will find the event page for the Reload Bible Prophecy Conference coming up on Saturday, July 12th. Not too long away, actually. At noon Central, it's free and online. Just show up to the YouTube page or the website, and it'll be live streaming for you. All these guys will be speaking. It's an all-day event. It should be a good time. Make sure you invite your friends, tell them about it, have some house parties, and do all that type of stuff. Get together, fellowship with each other for an all-day, wonderful day of God's Word and prophecies and all that. And then also, you will find the Eden to End Mystery Religion of Revelation 17 book free for all to download. Download it, send it to your friends, print it out, make copies, send it out to people, whatever you got to do. I think it'll answer a lot of questions and help people understand what is the mystery religion, what is the underlining theme to everything being done in technological and spiritual fashion, and in the church, and what is going to be the one world religion, and so on and so forth. So you'll find all that stuff there available for free, everything for free. And last but not least, if you guys would like to support this channel, I got donation links down below. CashApp, Venmo, and GiveSendGo. This channel is not monetized. I don't make anything from ads, views, anything like that. It runs solely off of your guys' generous donations. Again, you guys are the ones that make this all happen. The reason why I'm able to do all this stuff for free for everybody is because of your guys' support. And so I certainly appreciate it. So if you guys would like to support, those things are below. And I definitely appreciate it. So Thank you guys for your support and for your prayers and encouragement and your donations. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got. So I'm going to leave you guys right here. You guys have a great rest of your week. Be bold for the Lord. Continue to stay strong in prayer and in reading the word. And if the Lord does not come back by Saturday, same time, same place, I'll meet you guys right back here. Peace out. Maranatha.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.